My name is Kingsley Okoje. Don't forget that this program is brought to you by Network for the Advancement of People with Visible Disability, NADVID. NADVID is a non-governmental organization based here in Benin City that is advocating for the rights of persons with disability. Special apologies today because we are unable to have our sign language interpreter, which is meant to cater for our deaf audience. But subsequently, we'll be able to fix that and we'll have a sign language interpreter on set. Today is the 12th of June, 2026. It's Democracy Day, a day set aside to celebrate our democracy. I don't know if I can still refer to our democracy as nascent because we've gone more than a decade and that's no mean feat. On the program today, our attention is going to settle around the subject of democracy and disability participation. And who is best to have this conversation with us? We have with me in the studio a very revered and highly distinguished personality, Melody Omosa Esquire, one who has cast a niche for himself, not only in the disability community, but in our nation. I'll call him a national treasure because he's behind the conceptualization of the Braille Ballot Guide, a voting material that is meant to aid voting for the visually impaired. So you can understand why I call him a national treasure. Barrister Omosa, welcome to Hitches and Voices.
Thank you very much. Always a delight when I have the opportunity to be with our audience and viewers.
Welcome. I'd like to say a big thank you to our audience who are following on radio and those of you who have taken out time to follow us on television as well. A big shout out to the management of ITV for walking the talk when it comes to disability inclusion. They have made Hitches and Voices a household name in Edo State by ensuring that this program comes to you live on television and on radio simultaneously. But back to the subject. Today we are talking democracy. Like I said, I don't know if I can refer to our nation's democracy as nascent. I'd like to have your overview on this. What's your take on Nigeria democracy? Do you think it has properly evolved? Do you think our democracy can rank among celebrated democracy in other climes?
All right, thank you so very much. Thank you, viewers and listeners, for joining us again on Hitches and Voices. 29th May 2026, our democracy became 27 years, and that in an economy that is stable in developed societies. If when things go according to plan, a man or a woman that is 27 years is already a father or a mother, have graduated and started living their life. So by no stretch of imagination should our democracy again be referred to
as nascent.
27 years down the line.
He's a grown man.
A fully grown man. And I'm happy that today, of course, that leads me back. Chief Anthony Enahoro was said to have moved for the independence of Nigeria in 1959 at the Western House of Region, the Western House. Then, when he was but 26 years. So, when juxtaposed against our democracy, the Fourth Republic, that is already 27, you agree with me readily that it is not a baby anymore. But it's a long way. But of course, when juxtaposed with other democracies, United States, France, and all that, well, we are still a very long way away. But we're talking about June 12th, the 12th of June, and I'm sure many of these present, the Gen Z generation, they call them, except they do a little bit of history, may not have known why June 12th.
But unfortunately, history has been taken away
from our curriculum. Very unfortunately. You recall that on the 29th of May 1999, the military handed over to a civilian elected government, and President Olusegun Obasanjo became the president, and that day was set aside as democracy. But down the line, there was the clamor that before May 2029, there was a June 12th, where MKO Abiola, Moshood Kasimu Olayiwola Abiola, was elected by an election that are then adjudged to be the freest and fairest election that was organized, where he won, had a landslide victory on the way to become the Third Republic president on the 12th of June 1993. Unfortunately, that process was cut short in that the elections were annulled, I think on the 23rd of June that same year, by the then head of state, General Badamasi Babangida. And of course, a year after, he declared himself in 1994 as as president, saying that the military under Abacha was unwilling to hand over to him. He was incarcerated, and in 1998 he died. The first from his own part of the region, Ogun State and the whole of the western region, continue to clamor that he should be recognized as an elected president, even though that process was cut short because he was sliding to victory very comfortably before that whole process was stopped. So for the western states, they continue to recognize June 12th as Democracy Day. That for them, that is the proper day of democracy, and would even declare those days as public holiday. But Mohammed Buhari, of blessed memory, the president between 2015 and 2023, I think a year or two before he left office, recognized June 12th and declared it a Democracy Day. What this president has done now is that June 12th is not, no, I think Buhari recognized that Abiola actually won the election and that he declared him as a former president. But this administration has properly recognized June 12th as Democracy Day. And instead of having a public holiday on the 29th of June, 29th of May, June 12th has now been declared as Democracy Day. However, the handing over day and change of government from one administration to another remains on the 29th of May because it's a constitutional matter. But my take would be that the National Assembly should allow this to reflect. It is popularly accepted to move our Democracy Day by 13 days from May 29th to June 12th. Not, however, this administration or parent elected president and National Assembly, state governors and state houses of assembly benefiting from it. But this administration can do that so that whosoever is elected next will know that the taking over date and handing over date will not be on June 12th. No need to recognize May 29th and also recognize June 12th simultaneously as Democracy Day. So that's the brief history of what has happened. So Nigeria is no longer, we are a grown adult, and we should be seeing some features of an adult who is actually growing and in charge.
All right, you said something very stunning, that a 26 years old Aunty Onaru moved for the independence of Nigeria.
Yes.
And I'm wondering where our current 26 years old, where they are now. I'm sure they are out there hustling for jobs, trying to get themselves one employment or the other. Meanwhile, years ago, a young Anthony Onaru had the opportunity to be in an assembly where he could move that motion. One would have expected that we would have evolved to a point where we have younger people in position of authority to impact governance. But like you said, a 27 years old child is a grown man, and there are certain things expected of him. We are hoping that we'll continue to mature. But let's come back to disability participation now. there's the issue of democratic inclusion. Do you think our democracy as it stands today is more inclusive of persons with disability? And what does democratic inclusion looks like?
All right, thank you very much. In democracy, we say there's always a social contract between the government and the people. And that is what distinguish or differentiate the system of government to other types of government. Whether the monarchical system of government that is largely by hereditary, or the authoritarian system of government, or the theoretical system of government, where people take either by religious inclination or by other forms assume rulership position, not even leadership. But any form of democracy, being parliamentary, presidential, provided the people have the free choice, can participate and decide who their elected representatives will be. It is said that the people willingly donate their power to their representative, and therefore a social contract exists between the government and the governed. And I think that opportunity to participate in those who lead you should be the starting point. You don't wake up and say government is not responsive and responding to the yearnings of their citizenry, when in the first place you have no say whatsoever in either due to lethargy or you fail to perform your civic responsibility, or the opportunity to so do was not even provided in the first place. The point I'm struggling to make is that democracy starts from when the people are able to participate and decide who leads them. And it is to that extent that inclusion should be the bedrock and the watchword of every system, democratic system, that is aimed at bringing everyone on board. And to how inclusive can we say the democracy is for persons with disability, I would say the conversation is on, but we are yet not there at all. We have started because I recall that I and the organization I lead, NAVID, or Network for the Advancement of People with Disabilities, were a part of a process where we campaigned for Access Nigeria Disability Vote Matter campaign, where we engaged the Independent National Electoral Commission, the National Assembly, and other relevant governmental bodies to the end that they would make our electoral process and open enough for participation by persons with disabilities.
All right, we'll go to the issue of electoral participation. They usually say that in democracy, majority have their way, and the minority can have their say.
And only have their say, yeah.
I know that the community of persons with disability, we are in a minority in terms of our population and in our democracy. Would you say we've had our way, or we've been able to have our say, even though we can't have our way?
Well, I don't know how much you are in minority. It depends on what your calculations are. We are talking about over 35 million persons with disability in this country. And if we are able to harness that, everyone come together, I think the community of persons with disability as a constituency can sway election in any direction in this country if we properly harness. By what margin, what was the participation of the vote in the 2023 election between the candidate? We had a little over 25 million people participating in that election. And so I wouldn't really say that we have, as a constituency, that we are
in the minority.
Of course, if in any case, we say that we are the largest minority. That is how we like to brand ourselves. But of course, we know that we are not a political party, and so we belong everywhere. But the point will be that when it comes to advocacy for inclusion of this demography, the women group, for instance, and started long before, even the youth. Certain things were considered to, for the women and the youth group that we still yet do not have as a constituent.
All right, we'll stay on that subject, but we'll go on a quick break now. When we come back, our conversation continue with the Executive Director, Navi Melody Omosa. Let's go on a quick break and we'll be right back. It's still Hitches and Voices on Independent Television and Radio. My name is Kingsley Okoje, and our subject for discuss today is democracy and disability participation. And before we went on that break, my guest disagreed with me that the community of persons with disability, we are not in the minority. Nigeria has a population of over 200 million, and it is estimated that the disability population in Nigeria is well over 30 million. So that is not a minority, or we'll call it the largest minority, like you said. Let's go to the issue of electoral participation. INEC at the time talked about inclusion. It was a big issue within our electoral conversation. But I recall in the last election, it seemed to me, my personal opinion, judging from what I heard from other persons with disability who were in the field, that INEC seemed to have relaxed in terms of their commitment to disability participation in the electoral process. Where I voted, for instance, there were no Braille ballot guide, not just for me, for other persons with disability who were there. People complained that there were no instructional materials for the deaf. Elections were held in places where wheelchair could not access. So a lot of persons on wheelchair would rather stay at home rather than suffer themselves to go to a polling unit that is not accessible. So when it comes to participating in the electoral process, either as voters, let's even stay with voting. What's your take? Where are we on that?
All right, thank you very much. Like I said, there was this campaign where we tried to deepen inclusion in our electoral process with INEC, and we very well believe that engaging was the way to go. So we did not only advocate, but we were actually on ground to prefer a solution. That's where the Braille ballot guide you talked about was designed in the first place. First piloted in Osun State in 2018 gubernatorial election that held on the 18th of September 2018, and thereafter deployed nationally at the 2019 general election. One would have expected that there would be a progressive use and coverage in terms of distribution of the use of the Braille ballot guide. And Braille ballot guide is a system by which visually impaired and blind voters can access the ballot independently and be able to vote for candidates and parties of their choice. Like I mentioned, used nationally in 2019. After then, we continue to engage INEC to find out how we were progressing. Since then, in every election, we have always monitored. I have always been on the field to see the inclusion and the deployment of materials for the blind, the hearing impaired, even those with albinism, the provision of magnifying glasses for them to use. And what I see is that, like you noted, INEC seemed not, the momentum seemed to have dropped. I wouldn't know what happened. I recall that not only did we provide this guide, these materials, assistive materials for INEC, we also embarked on the CVRO, Continuous Voters Registration, that INEC now have. Would in the process of registering, you would have your disabilities type and stated in the form, so that they know firsthand that you are one with a disability, and on election day, seamlessly you'll be able to participate in the process. But that's not what we are saying. INEC has always had this logistic problem. And I think that for a group of persons with disabilities, for that matter, it should not be much a problem, even though nationally they do have their challenge. But I would say that from what I monitored in the last election, I'm not impressed at the pace INEC is going. I think that yes, it's fine that we had those problems 2018 when it was piloted, 2019 it was used nationally, and given the obstacles the election, if in the obstacles the election, organizing the election for a state like Edo, Ondo and all that, you cannot successfully deploy these materials for the persons with disabilities to participate in the system. I wonder what happens in general elections.
I mean, like you said, this is a 27 years democracy. And one would expect that at this stage, disability participation in elections should be a given. It should not be something we are still urging INEC, trying to encourage INEC to do. It should be a foregone conclusion that persons with disability can indeed participate in the electoral process, because the electoral process is accessible and inclusive. So we can only call on INEC to do the needful. Let's move over to representation. Do you think that persons with disability are adequately represented in leadership and in governance?
Well, they are not. The Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability, UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability 2006, Article 29 has asks that state parties should open their political and public space for the participation of persons with disability. And that was also ratified by the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act of 2018. But what do we have? I think that as we tinker with our Constitution, we have had the Fifth Amendment, and of course, the INEC, I mean, the National Assembly is also making move to further come with amendment. I think we need to have seats reserved for persons with disability. It's not enough to come up and say by political parties, where for some of them will say,
but they say power is not served a la carte.
Well, we are talking about representation.
Of course,
of course. Government must be seen to be protective of the weakest, of the minority, of the vulnerable. And a minimum standard. Why are women asking for a 35% affirmative reserve for them?
Women?
For why are they asking that certain seats should be, 1/3 of the seats should be reserved for women participation? That's why I said that the youth, of course we have, power is not served a la carte, but we have the not too young to run, be speaking to the participation of youth. But why are we not having something specifically directed at persons with disability, protecting their representative rights in the executive and in the legislative arm of
sorry for cutting
that of the
without mentioning any political party. I heard over the news that a particular political party has mentioned that as part of their policy, women and persons with disability who want to contest under their platform will be given their expression of interest free at a very minimal discount.
I say that is tokenism. that is just, that's playing to the gallery. It's like, oh, the Kingsley Okojen has the money to buy the form and I do not have, and we are contesting for the same position. You have paid for the form and I've given the form free. Who do you think the party will hand over the tickets to? The one that did not pay to contest and the one that paid for it. Until they make such persons their candidate to say, okay, we have reserved because this person have indicated interest, this party is presenting this person to run for that seat, then there's no guarantee. And even where parties are willing to do that, what is the assurance that other parties will follow suit? So I think the way to go is to have our constitution amended, to have a represent, and it is done in all democracies. There are
like in Uganda, for instance.
Yes, in Uganda, even in Iran, in Iran and in Iraq, for instance, I know very well, which is an Arab nation. They have certain seats for reserved for the Christian population, a certain percentage, right? that is an Islamic country. And so we see that everywhere, that certain group must have some level of protection. That is not all they should have. But at least we shouldn't have a 360 National Assembly members with no one representing the disability community and issues. Like I said, we are not just only a community, we are a constituent. And our issues should be so serious. So I think that we will do more to amend our constitution to guarantee some level of protection. That way, it will be a far cry for disability representation. You look at the executive, you talk about women, you talk about youth. How many governor or president have in their cabinet a one with a disability holding a substantive position, apart from what they try to do sometimes, having an SSA on disability matters?
All right. But very quickly, in 30 seconds, I've known you over the years. I've seen people in politics and in governance. I don't think some of them have some of the qualifications that you have to contest. Looking at the future, are you considering? I hope you know what I'm saying. Are you considering contesting for any elected position? Because I know you are more than qualified, more than qualified than some of the persons I see out there. Would you consider that?
Not for the moment. Yes. We'll see what the future holds. But
because I'm preparing to be your campaign manager.
Thank you so much for offering that. But I actually want to see that our system change and our democracy, our electoral process have such integrity that people will believe participating will not be shortchanged.
All right, this is a wrap on the program today. Such an interesting conversation, always with the Executive Director, Navid Melody Omosa Esquire. It is our hope that as our country's democracy continue to evolve, that disability participation will become more inclusive and accessible for persons with disability. My name is Kingsley Okoje. Spot the hitch and be a voice. Goodbye.
RTV, certainly the best.
Waya bota la nyuma ugi bota wese ni maadu ugi bota na du la no kwa ya de mode ma adu je ugi bota de na ni wa okay ka bo akan ma ya fe sisense kate awe okaigele iredu no mono ba gbe na tie ona tie ya fe ya na gba begwa eni ya fe ma gwa kan ni wa no ogun ni ana ogun egwa yebe na ore ma wo tan re pastor kabaru namure
ile dunu wo me wa be ne ka wa be idayo wa bi tota ofun igbosa ogbago yaro oba atokpe
ise owele wa le ti ma le Victor Gisugbe
Dona uzomo wa wesiri wana gbe hokoto ya dan he ewen matare urana kugbakere osolo gbonu ri honu wa ya hene wa be anwu na lele oba atokpe ise
me o sa boss en je no ye no ri do ba yo fa re do ya fe ina be ha ka gbo ni ye worldwide me we go to wa ya fe o sa ba no je mani ma ya fe
ise
oba atokpe
ise
anyway re ma gbo ka wọ́n wá wọ́n kà á lè dìde rẹ̀ ẹ̀dọ́ ọ̀pẹ́ ìmàkẹ́yìn ló kàn án ṣùgbọ́n láyé tó ta òkìkí náà mọ̀nàbọ́lá jìnnà tí ẹ̀yà fẹ́ kéná yáyù láwẹ̀ náà kéná má yáyù láwẹ̀ wọn láti àwẹ̀jọ́ wèé ní agbá òde ní agbèrè ní orí ìyé ẹ̀ lámẹ̀kì náà dọ̀lẹ́ yẹ̀ sí ẹ̀mẹ́ náà ní wọn ọ̀kẹ́rẹ́ yìí náà kẹ́kẹ́ náà ká yùwà ẹ̀ na mi we eso no ro nu wa we dadu wu orewo dadi gwe oni wa kan yi ke de ade kewe oto na we kin inu oto na kin inu ya niyan ma ewo wo inu ya niyan ma don we ewo don we ye inu ya niyan ma oka ewo ka oye inu ya niyan ma loge ewo loge ye ina ya fe ni wa e ma ho na gwaka wo po iwa ni e ro dawe oba ma okare uwe ye lo kale no ba ma we ojo we o le we la dia o le ko meji we la dia o ma ke lu fi ke gbodo we wọ́n kẹ́kẹ́ fi èpè gbẹ́wò ń wò pa ìwà náà èmi ni ọmọdé yọ ni wọn sẹ́yà ó tẹ́dọ̀ máa ń kè náà láì ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀rí náà rẹ̀ èdán ẹ̀rẹ́ wò láti ẹ̀ máa kẹ̀rọ̀rẹ́ àtẹ́sọ́ adé kẹ̀rọ̀rẹ́ wẹ́ká adé kẹ̀rọ̀rẹ́ rọgbà adé máa ń kèrò tẹ́ máa láì ọ̀rọ̀gbà ya kàn sẹ̀ èkó anábùkú ana ari Ghana ewona ke ga ari Sierra Leone o lo gba o yen ni ya fe wa mi ade do Daomi ona ade ona we yen won le Daomi isi Daomi o bi sara anu ya wo no we kopo iyoko o bi edo pa no aza ona che wa ni Daomi isi Daomi ona do we ere yen wa ho ni ate ji problem ana ko niwa waya se ni ya fe no we o wa ke manu na o ke ni wa manu wa
ise
ka yi ina tu wa ba o to wa ra ni bu wa pa o we wa ki ese inu na e fian e gwa wa e fian bu wa o ko ni ma ho so ba ni bu ko la wona
ise o
ya ni ma so to ne bo wa yi yẹn náà ṣe tó ẹ̀yẹ tó tààjú ìyẹn arúgbó kó bọ̀ wọn àrídè ní àkùnrin máa yẹn gẹlẹgẹlẹ rẹ ní àkùnrin máa yẹn kẹwọn rẹ ní àkùnrin máa yẹn mádàgbáyò rẹ ní àkùnrin máa yẹn ní yàfẹ rẹ ìyẹn àṣẹ ikó àrílẹ̀ rẹ wò ní máa yá yẹn èyí náà yàfẹ aláwọ̀ náà gbà wò dé wẹ wò yé ẹ̀ náà tẹ́wọ̀n pásítọ̀.
Dọ́mọ̀sá ilé ìdùnnú wà bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ká wà dáhùn ẹ̀ ní rí máa ìnáná bí náà yà gùn àkàmẹ́ ìwìnà ọ̀rẹ́ ọ̀kàgẹ́lẹ̀.
Nínú dáwẹ̀ dèmí zẹ́ nọ̀kàgẹ́lẹ̀ náà rẹ̀ ẹ̀rọ nana mìíràn ìgẹ́lẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n rẹ̀ dín ra ìtótà yọ̀gbẹ́ dín àkìnnà tó ìkọ́gẹ́ náà wọ́n yẹn ìgẹ́lẹ̀ náà àágé ní ayáwẹ̀ òwú ìmọ̀ ànìkàrọ̀ àágé ní abode no yiyoko oge ewuni nu dana miewe de mi na iga sunu emi wa edioma aberima iyeseti ijoha iyeseti ije kenuguje na ya iho ke na miewe igere lade obona emi wa edioma bi lade oboropa na wa yo bo waruwa oya de tota oro ara miewe igele mi ebu ya felo so pin ya me oka lotu na ti oka igele so pa oka igele ni ogwe edioma abe ni wan idu iko na ya ni na taba ye ke pa ya gwe igele du ko we eme no la dia be ike ni wan no de na ke o geni so pa aga zema no ga ke o asefeni no e abode opiano erike na dionia o etochi no no ya ka abode wa mi emi yesu no isun la nia ke be meme odomomu ya sun re asefeni bun e mo domomu na nia ni bun na yi mi ewe ya dun ya mu na ke kidnapping e ka gele no ra asefeni wa vigele la wo abe owe aba video e abo we aba la wo ai te mi ere e yo domomu ni ki ase ke wa ya se eke ọba agwali amune ihe ilẹ̀sìn na ní amúà ìmúná kàídélé bá ṣe fẹ́ ní fún ẹ̀yẹ́ nìgbè èdìọmọ ẹwọ́ ni ọjọ́wò ẹwọ́ ni ọ̀tùpògèrè ẹwọ́ ni ọ̀tùpògèrè ẹwọ́ ni náà owó èlérí máa mùnà ọba náà dókó àpọ̀lọpọ̀lọ ní dáyé tí wà wẹ́ náà pàdé wùwé náà ra oyotọ̀ náà hìẹ́ abòdẹ̀ náà yá hẹ́ ni awẹ́ ni màgẹ́rì ìbí ẹ́ ni mwini go ge mwi maria e mwini mu saka le maria na kpade na he ugu na re hebo owe amiewe o no na amiewe iyota oga le owe
o se
edwa atokpe
eni wa no ta omo no ba ti awo ka ye le ya fe zero ka ta si ana gun yagun nata mi ya le dado e kekene ugula dada o ka ye le wa no o kekene wa to bu wa re kugbe wa ya me ko wa do o me kekene wa na do e wa ya kin are ni wa ko eso wo wa ya ne wa ko eso to nu wa kin ya ne wa ya koko gba oge ekenu wo re edola otoroba otore Edo State que katikate Benin City de kinola no de kan au désert s'appelait Baron au désert minare gelegele au désert eni ya fe ayamu mami mai ma enya ne ma so nya we nya nyara nya ami mai esoro wo wedere wo ka o gelegele nya ma ko na mo yo wai gelegele iko eni were ba ya uzon we ya wanya ma ya pe ni ake ariba but supa ya nyato otene bizu gbezo
domo aba wa wese abina yunu kan na ako wa so won yen otene ta bange e cavalry ona we take we mu wa ho we iyotan olohu mina we ahe tani we okari tendo do yi we epin emu ewe idun ewele negbege ye na nia iyotan na do alo epin na do amu ewe idun ewele bo se gbe ibe ni ana ofuwe noa atileri o anoa amati eni kwaro noa ra o hamu me no awero ho ga ko yi na wo ba ana mi we eyigele na gele pagbe wobe boni ma ya si won dede gbe wa pagbe wobe wa ga iri e yana pagbe wobe ora lowo atemi we ogodo mu obu no wa do gbe na gburi na atemi we do vewa otedo huda owedo yuma sopan ewon pa eyin ata mami ri imanagele kukugbe mudawe akukugbe ora agwowe na manase ti buwen akukugbe ora agwize nege na fun na ahukwa mami oyin pa omo ma bowo owo isoro to ame owo ni seyin mo owo na ahe oto o ma re ki ra wayo oruwepo wa fun do ni yori tuti awe ekairele no baze obo ma wa owe yeru musu wa igwo gba delero ari wa ba o ana ma hefua na tie we dogun e delero yi o we usu pa no ba ne we eyin mi ki o ni keno kavu we eko emi we yonata gelegele abi kikini wa ile ga o dona uga mion o ka he mete mu ni ha magume yijo mu da na re gba mi ye pupa ara mu me ologo se mi million e ra fe gbe ladian ke ba di pa ni a de la na mi ewe orun pa ta ewe emi sunu we ni a o irele ya ve ladian ya la gele mu da we iye lo ha owiyan eronu we na bio na yumura won to won ke no to we la won ke nu gbo ewe na yo olotun owe imawe ole degbe ni ya oru yen se ti ha ni so we se ti we se re oru yen la yin e wo so ma na so omoto won wo moto oro yeke rudo mi wala ho onyi me no ma de yu vie mi wa kiegbe wo na go ba do lewo yi oba atokpe
ise eni wa ya iwa matana awo ka gele e ma gbogbo gwana o se gbigele ose gbigele ewo ose ku wa ni ani wa e manata na ni wa kugbe e ka wo gbe no idun no e wo no ku we no ka ye lo we beye ndo wa gbun le ba me uwu owe dadoge e kinu wu la we nu wo wa fi bo la o kekan we wa gbo e kan e o ko wo wa marie hana o ko wo wa do mi we o ko wo wa adodo wa mu o ho wo ekenu wo re do lai ona gun akana na me we odomo mu ma do na wa mu yi no wa ji okugbe we no ye na me we de o ko inare amadu mama ile ko awo wa ile ri do anu le buku ya ori Abuja ma do lo wa yi mo lo ba yi ta o wa dole ni wa to lowo de mo ya kan ko re gene de ya ye ro yen re ni bu wi ne so para gwa lo ara mi o mi ni loro amio na ya mo egbe nu we ya ro ere udo ya ago oge fa kan wo wa bidun wo wa rewo o ma sun ne de unda ọba ọgbà oge ma ya fe èyínwó naru ẹ̀rù kátíkátí orí náà sùn sí rẹ̀ ẹ̀wò náà òsì gẹ́gẹ́ gbúwà ìmọ̀ wá inú wà dáadọ́ rẹ̀ yìí kú gbàgbá ní ẹ̀rọ gbà náà mẹ́wẹ́ òkú gbanú àrí gbá ni ara rí osisi ìdàwẹ́ ẹ̀bàwẹ́ ara rí ọpẹ́ àfihàn mú ẹ̀rẹ́ ìrànwọ́ rẹ̀ eni yabu na na we ko yo pia ri ero oloro ya zi owe keni ade oge no ewe ni ata yen di ya mi ilasiwa ebi bi so yin a ya ro o are wo na we ewa to boy no we gbere na no ya kan ko ni bu ya fe ya yiro ni wa na me we ma de ewo na yesi ne lo wi ma tan e bi kan bo ni
ẹdùnú pẹ̀lú èdè òwe ọ̀ka ẹ̀rù kébẹ̀ ọ̀ka ìrẹ̀lẹ̀ òsànlógódó ayúwàwẹ̀ òun ta ní dasẹ̀fẹ̀ ní òun ta wúwẹ̀ gbèràgé ọgọ́ fúwé náà nùdá erémà mọ̀nà bá ní dókó àpọ̀lọpọ̀lọ̀ wọ́n rí zẹ̀ ọ̀ka ìrẹ̀lẹ̀ òsànlógódó azọ́dí òwe arámiẹ̀wẹ̀ ọbáwẹ̀ gbé zọ̀ká à ènìgè le la se fɛn ya o tɛ do bɛ na ka ya dɔ lɛ o yi nɔ bɛ na ya fue o tɔna do bi wɛ bi ma la a bɛ kɛ fue a kun ne ya a de o yɛ kpo bɛ na mana bɛ o bɛ o ligi bɛ zɔ ma si o tɛ o nga de na ya mie wɛ ɔgari sɛbɛ emɔ nɔri de wa do a o de bɛ bui kawe va isi ayo to pe ma eke no ma ke ni afi unji ya ga fi uyo ebo soro no kaye leje ebo ya kaye leje ne dio weye anu karapila la ru pisen na dolu poji so para fi enu to ebo soro ro owe nu we ka be otene ka e ba we ekwe no be pe adu amu egbe o yo ka gbo egele unda na ye igele ka ni ki abode emekin emema emegbejo alera asi aren bi adu yo babo eni ni mi na lo ka je na begele ki eni na la wowo eni ma ti wa o ma do bo ti wa o o ke ni wa eni ze no salo bana zuwa yira le me na sa wa ka we irano ko te are ye gburo lawa ara enye janere yo aladi ababa iwe na rije na ari mi ma no kode no wa bode ere ne de da dudun ake ode
da de wa ko
so de da de e wa ko de ni meje ugbokun gi e wiki ni ugbokun dare one ere so wa ro ugbokun gbe agbogbiyan ojira alara ya dunya yi ifano ibiere la bi e imunani amuna be gbe na ya ba so ya re yanya era bi ba la dia ya ka no waru gbo no gbo wa so gbe ka e ma no ba ko de ogbaso wa eke fuge ogie eya wa aro awa onwa yi abiosi mobo ana do mi ewe ina so ni ide na ga mu ni ya ni mwe so agiga ime so won so abage na agiga ri na aba mo position na were na ro ana do mi ewe ona do yoto ya so ro be mo na ko de le dugbo da ma ko de ade ko le wi ma de na so ye ipa dakota ya ri oba fi ya ira ko oba fi de e matosa ko ni amu ugbeso e governor se oge de arun we ni agbe no sisi ni ayo sisi gbe o e governor so oge de na ayo sisi gbe o arun we motorcycle ama wa na e de na ibe am ni we e ma ibo akode odugbo ara ga mu ni apopo lare we mu gbe ugbo gbe lare we mu gbinya wọ́n mi yàn ń fọ́nà ìyàn ara akínyàkínyà wò dọ́wọ́ yóò sì fi à àwọn ọba mọ̀ ẹ̀mọ̀ yẹn àmọ́ ẹ̀rọ ọjọ́ wòye gbèsè àmọ́sọ àbúrò gbèsè àmọ́sọ àdébọ̀rẹ́ ìlú náà ẹ̀yẹ lè nìyí ẹ̀rọ náà lè náà rà ó ló tọ̀ èyí dáṣẹ́ ti sùn wá èyí yàn ní àárín yẹn tèmi mú ẹ̀rẹ̀ náà yóò tọ̀ náà láwọ̀ náà sí mi náà tó wa ẹ̀mọ̀ rútu ẹ̀ ewé máa dé náà ẹ̀tọ́ ẹ̀nọ́pàá rútu ẹ̀ márí àdé gbàdúrà yóò sì gbèlégbé náà wàdí akúgbe lóòdẹ́wò màmá gbánímà ẹ̀rọ bí na mímọ̀ wọn ní ọ̀nàdọ́ apámísìkàwẹ́ yàbù ẹ̀dọ́dẹ ara rẹ̀ rà yìí ẹ̀tì wáyà gbèlégbé náà wà mẹ́gẹ̀lẹ́ náà wàdí agbèrè àwòdà yìí hàn wàdí máa mú òkú ọ̀dà yìí hàn ẹ̀ẹ́nì máa dọ́ àwòrì gbégbégbé máa kọ́ múra ọ̀hánà mú ìmẹ̀ náà níyàwó ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ni wọ́n tù yà là ọ̀tẹ́dọ̀ ni màá gbégbé máa kọ́ kí á tó àgbè wíyà lè bọ́ kí yà bá níyàwó ẹ̀ wàyà gàn yàrá síra yàrá mi ọ̀wà náà lẹ́rẹ̀ tọ́ yà yẹ tẹ̀bí ayé sí fi ẹgbẹ́ wa olùmọ̀mọ́ra yìí kọ́ ní màá gbá rẹ̀ yọ ẹ̀gẹ́ ni òbí yẹn lọ́dọ̀ kóhùn kò sábà lọ́dọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ òbí yẹn kóhùn ọ̀pá àtọ́pẹ́ yìí.
iṣẹ́ ìníwọ̀n ẹ̀yà ìwàdà ẹ̀rìn màtánà àwọ̀ kárẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹ̀họ́ ọdún wèé àwọ̀ kà àwẹ̀ nígbà ọ̀rẹ́ wò wá ẹ̀yìn mọ̀ wá gúgun àná ọ̀dà ìrìnàṣẹ́ mọ̀nátánà rọ̀mà pẹ́ náà ni mọ̀nà bá tú wáyà fẹ́ ọ̀nà tú wáyì kọ́ ọ̀nà gún wá gan wẹ̀gẹ̀rẹ̀ nẹ̀wò yìí ẹ̀ wàhán ìdùnnà ṣe máa wà wàhán ìrìnsọ ẹ̀ nọ́wẹ́rì ẹnu wà nọ́wẹ́rì ẹnu wà wẹ́ ìgbèmínà hẹ́rẹ̀ nùwẹ́yà mẹ́wẹ́ ẹ̀ má tàyẹn tàyẹn gí wàhún nẹ̀ nàmíwẹ́ àkúgbé arọ̀ ọ̀nù wà ẹ̀yìn màná ìwé ìgbéwé ya ìbòtà náà nàkúgbé gèlè arọ̀ ọ̀nù ẹ̀nu wà ọ̀tẹ̀ ẹ̀gẹ̀rẹ̀ yẹn bọ̀ ni.
àmì abọ́ kàìrìlì kẹ́kẹ̀rẹ̀ ìgọ̀bàdọ̀ lẹ́wọ̀ ààyè gun akànnà awọ kàìrìlì púpọ̀ náà kó amúwáyé náà ọ̀wọ́n àná bá gé òun ugan náà kó àyẹ̀ ha ẹni húdà àádọ́ ẹ̀kẹ́ ọba náà fi àbọ̀ náà yóò hàn mẹ́rì ẹ́ èrè òye rẹ̀ ọmọ àná ló sàmúdìàké òun àmì ẹgbẹ́ ọgbẹ́ ìrùn àmùdíà ní yóò kó tọ́bùn píọ̀rọ̀ àmùdíà náà rẹ̀ dẹ̀ tọ́bùn hàn wá. Eru ọba tó kí n asúwẹ̀ rẹ̀ nù tó sàrẹ̀ kí n rí asúwẹ̀ ńlá gèlè mọ̀ gbé lórí àwọn iná awọ kàìrìlẹ̀ wúwú dáadọ́ ẹ̀bù àyẹ̀kẹ̀lú wú dáadọ́ rẹ̀ la tèmọ̀rá yìí zẹ́ mú dáwẹ́ wà múdì àyọ̀wẹ́ amásìmí ànyà ó yà á fi bọ́yọ̀ rẹ̀ rẹ̀ ó wẹ́ nà ọ́ yà bàkú àdówẹ́ n'ebòtò ẹ̀gbẹ́ shift ground ọ̀nà àsìkò bọ́nà kéré lọ́pàá àsìkò bọ́nà kéré gbẹ̀ẹ́ wọ́pẹ́ máa dẹ́ ṣe bá gbẹ̀ẹ́ fi bọ́ yẹ ibà tẹ̀kẹ́sù gé gbogbo ogi ìva gbogbo pátápátá àdòfin ẹ̀yẹ ìva àyìn ní ọ̀nà ẹ̀rọ wọ́n ẹ̀gbú mátẹ́nyà ẹ̀ o ọ̀nà ẹ̀dẹ́ nọgba ọ̀ma bẹ gbìyà ààyè pa ọ̀rọ̀ ààyè nana fínáwó ọ̀rọ̀ ààyè nana tọ́ ọ̀wẹ́ ùtọ́ mẹ́rẹ́ gbówakọ̀ gbómiwé ùtọ́ mẹ́rẹ́ rọ ìwúlò ẹ̀dí náà náà àti ọ̀ní nọ̀mákìyàn máa yọ pẹ́tẹ́pẹ́ má bàa wúwẹ́ náà ọwọ́ àwàwù ìyá wíwá wà kọ́ wúyẹ́ wa tọ́ ni wúwà yà fún ìdẹ́yọ ẹgbà ọ̀wá ni máa gbọ̀ wọn ọ̀ma ìgbé wọn wọn náà mi ọ̀kẹ́rẹ́ ọba àtọ́pẹ́ yìí.
ìṣe èyí wa àwọn ọkà ọ̀bọ̀ gbogbo àná màmí ẹ̀bẹ̀ nẹ̀ ọtúmọ̀pá gbẹ̀rẹ̀ ọkà orí tè màrọ̀ ọkà orí tè akẹ́zọ̀ ayé ẹ̀yẹ̀ wa ẹ̀yẹ̀ náà pẹ̀ èyí ọ̀wọ́ kan ọ̀kẹ́ náà wà nínú kẹ́ àrọ̀ ọkà ayẹlẹ ẹwẹ wàmí àmúbọ lewegbe yasigbe odonwe ima hol matala dia we omakeke nu wagu oli yaruwe puwa we no kagele we ọka ọdínwé tó bú wẹ̀ bú wa ní ọpa èyí tó pa ọkà òye ọkà òvé ní búyá fẹ́ ọdínwé ọkà ayákòókò rẹ̀ wíkúgbé ó tó tẹ ọdínwé ọkà òye ó tó tẹ ọkà ọdínwé yé ọdínwé ọdínwé ní ẹ̀wò sọ̀rọ̀ ọkà inóge arọ̀ ọkà ọ̀rọ̀ ọdínwé arọ̀ enoge ya ize ọkàwé ize ọdọwé kìlọsẹ sopa ọdọwé nàkànà ọrọ gbẹjọ ọlá awẹmi yòtò bọọsì èmi yẹn àmàwẹ ọbẹwò nọsọ ọbọ ló mú gẹ ọkà sopa èyí ẹkọ èrè nọyẹ náà níyàn ọwọ bá kẹyàfẹ ọkà ọjọ níwọn èyí yàfẹ nọkà òye wàtò bó wà nọ ọkà nọ orí tẹnà wà gbẹ ọkọtọ. Awe tu wa ya fe na we no give her we le we ye we na adi egbe wo nda ma keke no wa ni te wa do luga we o de we yo igbe ni matana na kugbe mi ke na ro nuwa ya kini wa maka bo pon re e ma ya fe ni da hima ugi oge ibota e ba ta di na na e ma ma mu gi ibota di na yo to oba atope sir.
ITV, certainly the best.
Now, back in our secondary school days, we were taught that one of the key principles of a democratic system is the rule of law, the principles of the rule of law. Now, how important is the rule of law in our society? And how does it determine who gets what in a democratic society? Well, that's how I'd like to say welcome to yet another amazing episode of Flipside on Independent Television, reaching you live from the city of Benin. Now, for starters, Flipside is a socio-cultural program that beams its searchlight on some topical issues in the society. We just try to take random issues and of course try to examine them and bring clarity to them. It airs every Wednesday from 1:30 till about 2:25. My name is Harry Aigboje, and it's always a pleasure to have you join me on the show. Now today, I have a very, should I call it a panel of discussants? A very amazing panel of discussants. This is the first time of them being together on set, and I'm actually very happy to have them on set. So with me, they are going to be doing justice to this topic. To my far left is someone who happens to be an entrepreneur, but at the same time he is a public affairs analyst, and he's very vast when it comes to matters of this nature. He goes by the name of Deacon Matthew Ehiobo, but you know him as the shoemaking directorate.
Good to sir.
You're welcome on board, sir.
Nice being here. Good afternoon, Edo State. Good afternoon, Nigeria. You're welcome.
Yes, welcome on board. And of course, seated next to him, and of course seated in between is an erudite fellow, someone who is very versatile, and in fact, he carries fire in his bones when it comes to matters of this nature. He goes by the name of Favor Sala. Sadzi. Welcome on board, Favor.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure having you. Yes, we're talking the rule of law, gentlemen. Something really critical to a democratic system. Okay, so I guess it's right to begin by, defining the terms. So what would you say the rule of law is? How would you define the rule of law? Okay, and how is it, or why is it essential in a society?
Okay, that's for me.
Yeah, for you, of course.
Yes, it's good to know the definition of the term, the rule of law, especially in a democratic setting like we have in Nigeria. Rule of law is a fundamental principle of set rules, that bring individuals, corporate bodies, even government itself to account of adjudicated laws. When I mean adjudicated law, that is something you can litigate, something you can bargain or seek redress on, you understand, so that the public will not just be lawless. And it also helps in checking autocratic tendencies, you understand, so that we do not have a society where any person or even an entity or government itself can just come up with something on the interest of other persons.
Okay.
So that is a set of principles, fundamental principles that guide a society. Yes.
Amazing. Thank you very much. That was a very good start. Now, Amsati, how essential is the rule of law? First of all, you might want to give your own definition of the rule of law as well, but how essential do you think it is in a democratic society?
In a democratic society, it is so important because what makes democracy is the fact that we are supposed to be equal to an extent.
Okay.
So the rule of law posits or therefore makes sure that democracy is sustained, ensuring that both the elites and the servants of the society are equal. So one can be held responsible at all costs. So
in other words, the rule of law is aimed at bridging the gap between the elites and the common man.
For the rich, those that have power in the society and those that have not. That we can always go somewhere and get equal justice.
Okay, now how does political interference, undermine the rule of law? Sadzi, you might want to take it from there.
As we know, as the case has been, that common saying, the saying that ghost us, evil pays the piper,
dictates the tune.
So where politicians have found a way to hijack judicial processes, litigations, how justice is being served, there can never be fairness. There can never be upholding of the rule of law.
Okay.
Because I cannot be a judge, and the person that helped me become that judge has a case to answer, and I will rule against that person. It's not possible. Practically and realistically, I must find a way to make that judgment in the person, and at that point.
Deacon Matthew.
Yes, that is how it is, you cannot judge against yourself. There is a saying that says, if a matter stays too long in the palace, you know that the rich or the very elite is guilty in that matter.
Okay.
And that is how it is. Rule of law emphasizes equality, fairness, accountability. And when all of these pillars, they are the pillars of the rule of law, equality, fairness, accountability, when they are undermined, you cannot have a sane society. And that brings about the difference between developed economy, developed country, developed society, and those that are developing, or even the third world. You understand? By the time everybody upholds rule of law, then there will be sanity in the system. Then there will be, no matter who you are, you understand, you will be held accountable for what you do. And that is what we need if we must emerge. And that has to do with the independence of the judiciary. Because you cannot talk about rule of law without looking at the third arm of government, which is the judiciary, that interprets those sets from principles we are talking about. So how they are established matters so much. If they have their sustenance on the executive, there cannot be fairness in their administration. And that is what we are saying here, using this advocacy and the opportunity independent television and radio is given for society to be sensitized, for the governance, both the government and the governed to know their position, in matters like this, especially as we are seeing the forthcoming election. The general election is coming next year. We need to oppose sanity, accountability. You understand? Even in the campaign structure that we are seeing now, trying to edge some people out, some parties out using the state machinery. It's not just only particular to a state now. We're looking at the states in the federation, where the government in power will do everything necessary to undermine the rights, both the opposition and others. It does not mean well for us. You understand? If you do well as a government or as an individual, that will become your campaign strategy.
Okay.
You don't need to begin to do much, spend much on media. It will speak for itself. You understand? That is what equality does.
Okay.
And the pillars of the rule of law that we are talking about.
All right.
Yes.
Now, Sadzi, independence of the judiciary, is it practicable, or is it just something that exists on paper? I'm talking about an ideal democratic system. I'm not just talking Nigeria now. Do you think it's possible for the judiciary to be totally independent, or it's just something that people yap about?
We've seen countries where the judiciary have seen to be, or have shown rather, to be independent enough.
Okay, but not 100% independent.
There's no 100% anywhere.
Anywhere, okay.
And that only can exist in an ideal society, and there is actually no ideal society in practice, because.
So you're telling me that the El Dorado does not exist in reality?
If you know what I can travel here.
Okay.
So in that light, since we know and we can say there's no ideal society, we try to be the ideal society in practice, because there are a lot of variables that you want to consider. And there's the human factor, there's the social factor, there's the political factor, there's the religious factor, there's the tribal factor. So all of these would not give you 100%. But we would try to get it 90, to get it an 80, to get it 70. So pegging it on a 70%, it exists. We've seen it. I mean, places where we've seen how criminal cases have been, discussed or tried, and we saw the result. We never expected it to turn out this way, and we come back and say, if this was in my country, perhaps would have gotten another. We've seen situations where a politician here in Nigeria did something abroad, and he's, as we speak right now, he's serving his J term alongside, I think, the wife and some other persons too. If that were to be in Nigeria, that case would not fly. It wouldn't have seen the light of day. So in that situation, we can say at least the rule of law does hold water, or does exist. But we can also want to also bring the sentiment of perhaps maybe it is because he is not a citizen of that country or whatever. But then something stands out. In Nigeria, when foreigners come here...
Do you think that sentiment holds any bit of water?
It does not. Because we've seen situations where even citizens in that country have to also face the law. You don't break traffic rules there. If you're a traffic offender there, they don't even bother. Don't go home and your ticket is waiting for you. At that smallest level, can we be accountable? Come back to Nigeria, come to 5 Junction. Come to, what's it called, First. You see how people beat the traffic. And, if you have power, when they finally hold you responsible, you start making calls. What do you make the calls for? To undermine the rule of law.
Yes.
It's practically evident. It is practically evident. There are places where it works. When we leave Nigeria, we become sane people. We become people who knows how things should be. But when we come back here, it's for it. We encourage it, and it becomes the standard, the bare minimum.
The bare minimum. Well, this shouldn't really be our bare minimum. As a matter of fact, we should begin to strive for excellence, because we really can't continue with this mindset. In case you're just joining us, it is Flipside on Independent Television, and I've got 2 erudite guests on the show with me today. We shall be going on this break now, and when we return, the program continues. Please stay tuned.
The
All right, it's great to have you back. It's still Flipside on Independent Television, and we're talking the rule of law in a politicized system. Now, before we went on that break, Deacon Ehiorubo, right?
Yes.
He made mention of something quite striking, and that's the fact that some of us know the right thing to do, but we just choose to do the wrong thing. So before we point fingers at the government of the day, we should probably look inward. So do you agree that the corruption in Nigeria is an endemic thing and not necessarily a leadership problem?
You see, it is from the credo. Before we even blame the government or the leaders, the position you are holding, maybe as a father or as a mother or as a teacher in school, how are you upholding it? It is often said that in a lawless society, it becomes criminal to be law-abiding. You know, maybe people are, you know, trying to maneuver in the queue. You know, before you know, somebody will just come and hijack the whole process. And if you want to resist, because it's in power, it's in position, you know, it will undermine the whole system. And that for us is not helping us, if you ask me. So the something is, we should have some level of decorum. You understand? Before you point accusing finger on those in authority, how are you managing the position you are holding, maybe in your family setting, in your religious circle? You will hear a lot of things going on in the religious body, not just in the politics now. You know, it will blow your mind, the tendency to which some people, you know, what they're supposed to uphold, they are the ones destroying it. It becomes a problem. If maybe a security officer now, you know, driving one way, what will it tell to the people that are just passing by?
What impression will
you
it give to the
understand? What
average
impression
person
will it give? If a policeman that's supposed to do the needful is the one that is now breaking the law, you know, it becomes a problem, because rule of law emphasizes fairness before the law, whether with the individual, corporate body, and even government itself. You know, by the time government shows example, you know, enough, you know, people will follow suit. In fact, we've even saying it that the problem we have in Nigeria is more of leadership. Because if our leaders do the right, there was a program at the time talking about pooling funds, you understand? Because people do not see our leaders accountable and they don't take their words to account. There was a program during Man Around Town, then it was a Philosopher, you know, where somebody who had a need would just say, please, this person has a, because of the trust people have on Man Around Town, on ITV program, you see people start to make donations until the presenter now said, it's enough, we've gotten enough. But if you look at other environment, you call for funds before people, because the ones that have been contributed before have not been well utilized. So why will I put in more? But because they trust the system, they trust the system that is asking now, you know, you see great response, tremendous response. So what we are saying is that let it not become the normal or the new norm that everybody just live the way they like, and when you take it to court, you see, because the rich has influence with the judge, you know, or the judicial system as a whole, you see the whole thing is perverted. So this thing must stop if we must make headway, because at the end of the day, it is our identity we are trading. I often say your political party will come and go. In fact, your age, your generation will come and go, but what you leave behind matters much.
Legacy. The
legacy. So that is how it is. We talk about rule of law, let's emphasize fairness, equality, you understand, because at the end of the day, it is not just for you to eat and you are satisfied. What you leave behind will speak volume, even after your exit.
What you leave behind will speak volumes. Thank you very much, Deacon Ehiorubo. Now, let me ask you, Sadzi, what are the signs that a country's legal system has been compromised or politicized?
When there's so much uncertainty that you're not sure of anything, you can just wake up tomorrow and the policy has changed. And you can't even question the government.
There's no due process?
No due process. And that's because someone says, I felt like it. And when you try to you know, go through a process about it, the process is stalled and stalled and stalled until you get frustrated and you give up. So all of those kind of elements, or a situation where a public officer cannot be held accountable, or if you do it, you are vilified, you are criticized, you're even assaulted to some extent. All of these elements are already an evidence that the society is having a total breakdown. And there are a lot of these elements that we can mention, but it's
restricted.
Yes, it's a case of you have to be careful.
You have to be mindful of the words you choose.
A lot of things are not what it's supposed to be, because we are still not sure of the rule of law. I can't even talk the way I'm supposed to.
Okay, now, where do you place the immunity factor? You just made mention of the fact that some public holders are above the law, so to speak. But there's also the fact that some of these people enjoy some sort of immunity, which is also embedded in the democratic system. What do you make of that?
Some of these people you said, right? Yeah. And we know who these people are. Okay. They cannot be more than the executives, the governor, the president. There are persons who do not have an official immunity. Okay. But they enjoy more than this immunity because they know someone who legally has that immunity. That is not right. And these are the people that are used to.
So you're saying that the immunity of the powers that be covers them?
It cuts across the whole village. And so this village can go to the next village and run it down and nothing will happen. And when anybody has nothing to lose, that person can never be held accountable. And you spoke about legacy. We do not care about legacy anymore because it is of no worth. How many of your secondary school friends can you even remember as you are seated? Think about it. You have to think again and say, because there were actually nothing to remember them by. Because the system made us to not care about those things. We just lived. So not until we realize that the life or the existence that we have today is a one of not just process but structure and legacy. We'll keep recycling these habits that has gotten us this far. It is said that the unexamined life is not worth living. Yeah. So what are we living for?
All right, still talking about the independence of the judiciary. I would like to ask you this, Deacon Eyorobo. How can political influence affect the appointment of judges and legal officers?
You see, that is where the problem even starts from. That the executive or the person, the office holder, using his office to sole appoint, a judge or an occupier of an office that will preside over matters of interpreting law. There is a problem with that. We've said before now, that the judiciary, they should not become like the appendage of the executive by way of getting their financial, their funding.
Their source of
running livelihood. Okay. You understand? It should be institutionalized, not on an office holder or an elected occupier of an office, whether executive, especially the executive now, because when we are talking about the executive, the legislators, they always say to whatever that is being the bill that is before them, and that is supposed not to be. In that scenario, they cannot even do their oversight function. Then coming to the judiciary, we are talking about now. I'm not a legal practitioner, but with the level of intelligence I have been an entrepreneur, I see how it's supposed to be. You understand that if you put their means of sustenance, their means of running the arm, on appointments based on the executive, there is going to be a huge gap and perversion of justice. And that is how, if maybe we put it before the legislators, to kind of screen them and do all of that, you see at the end of the day, the process is still being jeopardized because of the person or the office they are looking up to. That's talking about the immunity we just opined just now, So it should be checked. It should be institutionalized. There should be a body, a professional in those regards, maybe within the judiciary, to set a principle that we bet, the emergence of those that should interpret law, whether at the high court, federal court or or to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
You understand? But the thing is just based on you hear the governor has appointed so judge, then he will send them to the legislator for screening and confirmation. And in all of this, they will say if you agree, say I guess say nobody will, approve. All of these things will not mean well. We talked just now, there cannot be a society that you say is 100%, but there should be some level of decorum that even those in primary school, those in secondary school, will see a future to look up to.
Okay.
Because there are some things you just watch in the news, you begin to see, if it is like this, you begin to reward touts, reward those that takes violence, if not for our amiable governor that is taking the fight, standing tall against kidnappers. You see, it has almost become like a business venture.
Yeah.
Where people will just kidnap themselves, demanding money, and nothing will happen. You take it to the police station. In fact, you that even report the matter, you will not be threatened, because the person you reported that was arrested will come and say, are you not the one that, there is no freedom or kind of confidence, yes. Confidence you should have in a system. Governance is built on system, not on individual. It should be institutionalized. There should be a process. Before you cook a pot of fried rice, it is not the same principle or the same way you cook pounded yam. There are set rules. That is what we are talking about now. In a sane society, when you talk about rule of law, it cuts across religious body, cuts across the executive itself, cuts across the judiciary, cuts across even the traditional institution.
All right.
You understand? Why we give preference to traditional? Because they are custodians of values, customs.
Yeah.
But along the line, you see royalty and a lot of things have even perverted justice from that end. Before now, when you hear of a traditional ruler or you hear of a pastor or an imam, there is kind of reverence.
Yeah.
But because of the way things are going, people just for money, they sell up their birthright. And
it's
before
really
you want to regain it, it's too low.
All right.
It's too much.
Thank you very much, Deacon Hirobo. Now, back to you, Sadzi. What do you think are the far-reaching consequences of disregarding or ignoring court orders for political reasons?
One of the consequences is lack of trust. A society where people would not trust the system. I'll give an example. Why do we still hear cases of jungle justices today? It's because people do not trust the fact that if you take a criminal or an alleged criminal to the police, that they will get justice. So they just take laws
into their hands,
which is very wrong, because sometimes not until one has been tried and found guilty in a law of court, you cannot say that person is a criminal,
It's criminal
or is convicted, if that's the right word to use. So, but all of this would happen because these people do not trust the system. And why do we not trust the system? Because it is evident that when you leave such cases to the system, what you get in the end is not satisfactory. It's not justice. So where do we get justice? I just do it my way.
If the justice system is compromised.
It's heavily compromised. In fact, the only persons that end up getting justice now are the rich. It's for the highest bidder. So if you are fighting against a man who is well, just know you have lost. Just know it will take the grace of God. We cannot say there are no cases where justice eventually was saved, but it will take the grace of God. If that person is serious enough to want to fight that case, and he will win you. And nothing will happen. Do you know how many cases that are in court or that people who were convicted for because they were not rich enough to fund the process that would grant them freedom? You can go and check. So it's a system that it's a factor that has actually turned the system around, and then everybody wants to look the other way. And the reason is not far-fetched. This is because everybody has plugged their livelihood to a power bank of survival. So everybody wants to survive.
It's now survival of the fittest.
Yes, it's a survival mechanism. We want to survive. People who are going to school today to be educated are not going to school because they want to
acquire knowledge.
The next Bill Gates, in terms of the amount of things they've done contributed to the earth and all that, but because they want money. They want to be rich. They want to be able to oppress their neighbor. I better pass my neighbor mentality. That's the only reason. So, however the money comes,
the end justifies the means, huh? Okay, I know there's a whole lot more you would like to say in that regard. Well, it's still Flipside on Independent Television. I want to assure you that the program is just getting started because there's a whole lot more for you, okay? But stay tuned. The program continues afterwards. Please stay tuned. In the studio with focus or redirect attention to the legislature, or the legislature rather. What role do the legislature plays in protecting judicial independence?
Yes, the judiciary, the legislators, they are the lawmaker. They are the arm of government that are tasked with making laws. And how are laws made? They will first of all set a bill, you know, from it's a process. You know, law are not just it's not just something you just to understand. Call it you understand, to pass for executive to execute. But by the time they take order or take permission from a certain people, not looking at the generality, that is where the problem is. Because we talk about rule of law, you know, bring both the individual, corporate bodies, and the government itself to account. You understand? It's kind of a bridge to unify individuals or everyone in that community. Okay. But by the time there is an exemption, we talk about immunity for maybe especially the executive, you understand? You know, but by the time they do not take to account, you know, how does these things really impact the society? Looking at what just benefits you, there's a problem with that. You understand? And when this matter are brought for oversight or to be checked, you know, you don't even think to or make a process to look at how it reaches out to the others, you know, from one side passing judgment. You know, like as a leader now, when you hear a matter from a source, they say twice a king hears a matter. When you hear a matter from a source, you find out from the other source, how is this matter, before you pass your judgment. By the time you just hear a matter and you are just overruling, there is a problem that. So we are advocating with this means to all arms of government, both the judiciary, especially the legislature that makes the law, let them look inward. Okay. Look inward. It's not just about your office. Somebody do say, that position you are occupying, do you know why you are there? Because you will not always be there. And it is good to leave the stage when the ovation is still high. Yeah. Because by the time you want to go beyond, you know, do the excesses, it does not mean well for you, and it will not also mean well for your identity. Okay. That is the nation we are, you know, upholding.
All right. Thank you very much, Deacon Matthew. Now, Sadzi, let's shift our attention to the people, all right, the citizens. Do you think there is anything they can do, okay, within their own little capacity to defend the rule of law against political manipulation?
I think 100% of the work is on them.
On the masses?
Citizens, okay. The masses. And because the people we call leaders, where are they picked from? Where are they selected from? Where are they elected from?
So what do you think they can do? Because it looks like their hands are tied. They really do not seem to have much influence as regards, determining what becomes of the rule of law.
It is a case of we have inflicted ourselves with this infirmity of poor mindsets. A lot of us are lazy. And so because we are lazy, we want to pick the lazy option, which is to not do anything or support those that will make my not doing anything a cost. I will explain. If I know it's going to cost me more intellectually to do the right thing, I'd rather not do the right thing and still gain the benefit. As far as I can eat, drink, and sleep around, I'm okay.
So it's all about immediate gratification?
Immediate gratification. And so you observe the thinking. Go around town today and just talk to a few young people and ask them, what's your goal in life? And see what you get. Do you see how people go around about their daily businesses? Nobody's thinking about the future. Ask about young people. They'll tell you, let's just enjoy it now. And that reflects in the kind of economy we see in the States today.
But what do you make of the growing population? Because I, for one, have noticed with keen interest the fact that a lot of young people are getting involved, in interrogating the political process. Some persons are becoming more aware, and of course, creating awareness in turn, right? If you go on social media, you see lots of young people from, I don't want to mention names, but a lot of activists that are questioning the status quo and also trying to make their own little difference or impact.
You're not wrong, but let me ask another question. For how long? Where there were this rise of advocates or activists 4 years ago. Where are those people today? These persons were finally grafted into the government that they once criticized. They got into the payroll of these same politicians that they once criticized. Go and check. They started flying jets. They started flying from one country to another. But that's why the same persons you were criticizing. So who then becomes the flag bearer? Who then becomes the, who bears the cat? Enough. So the intentions for me is faulty. So the spring up that you see now, the boom now you see, the intentions is simple. We are unemployed. So this is just another industry.
I'm glad you personalized that and or found a way to incorporate yourself into it.
We are unemployed. So you give me a job today to go online and start singing or criticizing the government so that they will notice me and will get in. We'll do it. After all, what was I doing with my time? I was using my data on TikTok and all that stuff for free. And you're telling me now that if I still use that same data to do this or do that, I'll get something at the end of the month. Let's do it now. I don't care whether you are doing the right thing. You support any government. Because whether I support them or not, the rule of law still does not hold water. And those are the people who come in as SSAs, SAs, and the rest of them.
So what you're saying in a nutshell is that the youths are not necessarily docile, but they are not persistent enough. Is that what you're saying?
It is
or that they eventually compromise?
Compromise is key. But I don't know if we want to see it as they are not persistent enough, because in what they are doing currently, they are persistent enough. It is just a case of I better pass my neighbor mentality. We want to be able to oppress the next person, and the only way we can show influence is affluence, money. You can be arguing or having a conversation with some persons today. Maybe it got heated, and at some point, the next thing the person will tell you how much you even get. I'm not lying.
Quite true.
It will not be a case of how much have you done for the society or how much have you contributed to what. It will be a case of how much money.
Always about financial power.
Which car you drive, safe. How much? What did you say you get for life? They will still narrow it. Or will still narrow it down to what? Money. So if money becomes the bane of contention, so let's keep having more of it. Because if I need to prove any point to you tomorrow, it will still be about the amount of money I have to what? Spend.
With little or no regards to other factors like
morality zero, virtue zero. Nobody cares about. Do you celebrate virtuous people today? No. The people who are celebrated, who are popular, who are influencers, are those who have worn the garment of shame. Shamelessness is the big deal. It's the new currency.
Okay. All right. You see, like I said in the opening, Sadzi always has fire in his bones when it comes to matters of this nature. But let me get back to you. Deacon Matthew.
Yes.
Much earlier, you made mention of immunity for public office holders, especially the executive. Do you think that needs to be reviewed? Do you think we need to look into it again? Do you think the immunity is giving them the license of some sort, to be, should I say, lawless?
The value we placed on those offices, it starts from the public, you understand? It's just too high that, the people now see that it's a do or die if I don't get there. And that is why you see a governor that have done 8 years, just within 3 months or 6 months of being out of power, is fighting tooth and nail to either return to that same office, or maybe by way of Senate, or to be at the corridor of power, because there is that insatisfaction that is craving in the heart, and because they've left the first love, the first principle of having food and raiment be content, this satisfaction that God has made embedded in man, because they've lost it, and they want to do everything within their means, to get there. And that is why, if we must amend, if we must develop, we need to check, review some of these laws, whether by way of immunity, even the way we are implementing our rule of law. I said earlier, it is adjudicated law. You can seek redress in the process. You can litigate on it, whether as an individual or a body, you understand, or even the government. An individual in a same society, an individual suppose or has that right to sue the government if something is not going in his favor. But in the case we have, maybe in the
Is there a difference between suing the government and suing the government official?
There is difference.
The executive.
There is difference, because the office is different from who is occupying it.
Okay.
And these things need to be checked, you understand, with the way we interpret the law. And it also boils down to the judiciary, interpreting these laws for both either the individual or anybody to get justice. And if somebody is not sure of getting justice, that is when jungle justice we earlier mentioned comes in. After all, is this the same scenario that will play out? Then you just do what you should do. Then everybody, the strongest of it, will take. You understand? It's just about survival. So let us look at it. I will not say the whole fault or work is with the public, like my brother said. It's a synergy, both from
He said the bulk of the work is on us.
Not just
because we make the leaders.
Exactly.
In that sense.
The leaders are not important.
You know why? Now you made mention that when these our leaders travel out, they maintain orderliness. Why is it that when they come back, we
would accept it.
You understand?
So, but what he is saying, what I think he's saying is that what makes the difference is leadership.
It's
because
leadership.
they are very much aware that if they break the law over there, they're going for it. But here, they are just
because we accept it so.
And you say just leadership, who is actually not a leader?
Now look at it.
To be a government official.
So you're saying that the average citizen is a leader.
We are leaders.
All right. All right. That's quite an interesting dimension to the conversation. But it's okay. It's still Flip Side on Independent Television. We shall be going on this final break, and when we return, it will be time to wrap things up on the program. Please stay tuned. All right, many thanks for rejoining us. It's still Flip Side on Independent Television. Now, we are at the final lap of the program right now, and I would like us to begin to, prefer solutions to the problem, because I'm more of a solution-oriented person.
Yes.
It's okay to talk about the problems, but I think the icing on the cake is preferring solutions. Now, how do you think constitutional institutions remain neutral during periods of intense political conflict? We've seen several instances in this country where there was a lot of political tension in the air. Now, what do you think can be done? How do you think constitutional institutions remain neutral in such moments?
See, the way we've been seeing it, and the way it's still happening now, I'm afraid talking about neutrality is far-reaching for us. I'm afraid, you know, saying it right here, that with the way, especially like the INEC that's supposed to be an umpire, you know, the way they've been playing, running their offices, you know, one-sided, because we're supposed to check the process. We're supposed, I cannot go that part just to make an appeal that if you do what you've been doing, if you keep doing it, you know, you may not be able to leave legacy behind. Okay. You understand? So I'm not to say, look at this. This is how it should be. By way of activism, we go to court, we look at it. But by the time you go that route, you will end up spending your money, spending your time, and you'll get no justice. Okay. So now, I'm now appealing to their moral conscience that look at how it's supposed to be. Now, let us be ashamed of ourselves for once. Okay. When you look at other nations, look at a nation like Botswana. Go and look at their level of education. They are an African country. Okay. Even Madagascar, people are beginning to demand what is due for them, and leaders are not listening to them because it's the way to go. It should not turn violent by way of revolution, rioting, before you know that this thing, you know, needs to be checked. So that is my submission. Please, you that is supposed to play neutrality, you know, even the government you think you are siding, it will still come and go. Even 5 years, for 8 years, or even 20 years is not forever. Okay. But your identity, you know, what you pretend,
your footprint
in the international community, you know, lives long.
All right. Thank you very much, Deacon Matthew Ahirabo. Favored Sadzi.
My appeal will not even be to the judiciary. He has done a bulk of that already. Okay. It is to the paymasters. Let them allow us have a fair play, a fair playing ground. When there's a fair playing ground, all the rules can apply. But when there's no fair playing ground, there's nothing you want to.
When power is tilted to one direction.
Yeah, so they still fund everybody. So they have everything. So they control every single thing. In fact, they're actually the law. So when they are ready for sports, we'll do sports. For now, let's keep at it.
Well, I'm sure the powers that be, or some of the powers that be, are taking notes, and I'm actually hoping that we all come to the round table and begin to, you know, look at better ways to do things rather than, you know, moving in the old direction. We really can't keep doing the same thing, you know, over and over again, the same old way, and expect a different result. Well, I must say a very big thank you to you, gentlemen. Deacon Matthew Ahirabo, aka the Shoemaking Director. Thank you so much for your
being here.
Thank you for your brilliant analysis, and of course the erudite Favored Sadzi, the public affairs analyst and a social impact commentator. Thank you so much.
Welcome, sir.
All right, it's been an amazing show so far. I want to say a big thank you to you out there for being a part of the show. My name is Harry Aigboje. And until I come your way again, same time, same station next week, do the right thing, stay out of trouble, and have yourself a lovely day ahead. Bye for now.
This is ITV. Certainly the best.
ITV. Certainly the best.
Now wetin dey happen? Boss Sununa. Now wetin dey happen? Now wetin dey happen? Boss Sunun.
Wetin dey happen?
Therefore, Oku Road. Gbowi yebe no vive. Oh ya simi e woma. Megi gbowi yebe no vive. I dey for Ohu Road, Ofia North-East. Landlord and landladies, people wey get property for this area. Come slow down. Slow down. People wey get property. Na Siloko Road. From Igbobazuwa. Siloko Road, you go reach Ego. Ah. Okay. This one not be Ohu Road, though. This is Siloko Road. See the Ohu Road. From here, they go come out for Oluku. From here that be the Ohu Road. When they pass the crossings. So from here, they go come out for New Lagos Road. This one Igbobazuwa Road, but make we see am. Okay. Edo State Government project construction of Ohu Road off Ugbawa Lagos Road, Benin City. Contractor Heartland. Supervising Ministry Edo State Ministry of Works, Sapele Road, Benin City. Edo State Government project construction of Ohu Road off Ugbawa Lagos Road, Benin City. Contractor Heartland. Who they supervise am? Edo State Ministry of Works. And on the road with this. You know, yes, Edo State Government. I want give contract on this road. May they do a series from Siloko Road to look for here.
Last year, the last 2 years, during the rainy dry season, that they were supposed to tie this road. If you see the pace of work, that's the pace of walk. It was very slow. You understand? When they tied it to Laba Junction, there, that was the end. Before the rainy season set in. Now is not motorable.
The contractor not get there again.
No.
Okay.
No contractor.
Even the structures the vehicles are all removed. I don't know. Suddenly they disappeared into oblivion. The whole tractors they were using to construct the road, they removed it. And as you can see, it's very difficult for vehicles to pass this road now. If not that this is a jeep, we cannot drive through.
You understand?
So you see people swimming in the flood.
You understand?
When it rains.
I want to see myself.
Go and see, go and see.
Say the contractor where he say come here not there again.
No oversight function. No oversight function.
He should come and inspect the work.
To come and inspect what is going on.
Oversight function.
Yes. Now it's not
from the governor and the deputy governor.
Yes,
both of them.
If you
oversight
function.
If you are
and the legislators.
You understand? Go and see the extent of work there. What is going on? This road have been.
Oh my governor, you should be ready to lay good foundation. Earlier the better. Cause in the nearest, I'm gonna remind him.
Yes,
deputy governor.
Tell us say next name to talk about. Say me
foundation. Earlier the better. Cause in the near future, you become one of the leaders. So we are praying, governor, visit some of the places where you give. I know say you dey visit some, but Ohu Road.
For this village, then we know they say again was Sunu. We know they say. See my store, if they flat for time of water, they enter inside my store was Sunu. No be so we talk, when the road even go small, we all of us they cry. Now we dey pay no.
You know, yes, don't come here. I don't give contract on this road from Siloko going to look for that side.
Now your mother they hear us so because when they start we not see anything. Now for all those and then they don't do something. For soon the children close for school now wahala. All of us they go stand for road they wait for our children. If bad carry children they fall for water. But soon the man do something. Our governor do something. Do something. Do something. We they cry. Children they cry. You see how this back when they see so. If they close for school, children not they fit call us. Market dey shake Wasunu.
Oku Road.
I dey tell you for Oku.
Oku Road.
For inside Oku village o, we dey suffer o. Yeah, good. Go up that side and go see wetin dey happen. Wasunu go that side and go see wetin dey happen.
Oh my governor, you should be ready to lay good foundation. Earlier.
Wasunu, I said they see you, so I suppose hold you, but I know say not be you do am. Now to make me.
Enter back. Move. I dey for Oku Road for Benin City. I dey for Oku Road for Afia North East. That be that I want the contract, but we don't see the contract again. They don't want the contract. They don't want the contract.
Waiting they happen.
When I come this road 3 years ago, they never tire me. Oku Road for Afia North East. Hey, whoa! When I come this road 3 years ago, they never tire me. Oku Road for Afia North East. So, you see that road when they done the tie they come from that side. Now the road now be the Oku Road. So, you see the sandbag when I say where those take come and take I want down to Heartland. Now, if a new Lagos road now block now here they go pass now. This is an example pass here. If new Lagos road block now, they won't come pass this Oku Road. Go come up for Siloko Road. So, if that road, when they construct, they come from that side, come pass all here, Siriri, wherever. Magi Bovi Yeve no vive. Oh yeah, see me woman. You know, say when I come this Oku Road like 3 years ago, it is tough. You see, I'm saying government don't award them, but Oku people they surprised why Edo State governor never come monitor these projects. The Oku community, elders and youth of this community, they surprised say governor they inspect different roads. Why he never come inspect this Oku projects? Since how many months?
What slippers like this? I never said. When I need to open this business, now every week I go market. Since April, I never say one slippers. I don't see who they ask me say, Madam, how much they sell slippers? You not there, no road now. Who can follow me back? Who can follow me back? Look my fence. I'm original fence when I do. One night, therefore yesterday night, I use stroller raise my table to work. I just sleep when I wake up. As I wake up now, I can't do fence, original fence, so make sure I'm not come push me enter war when I take so. That these people are telling they feed though, now I think they pay us rent. Now I never say one slipper.
Since when this road not good now, you don't feel say anything.
I never say who want follow me back.
You know yes, contractor don't they do the road.
This contractor. Thank God, contractor. Say this road never worry what they do. They never abandon us. They don't abandon us now. They don't forget us. See now look at they don't forget us. Look at. I beg, go when I help us, go be help.
Oku Road, Oku Road. Oku Road. Afia North East, Oku Road. Hey, whoa. Gigbovi yeme no vive. Oh yeah, yes. I know say you dey very happy. Say I don't take government. They award this in Oku Road. Big community. Wetin come dey sunu, wetin come make una dey complain now.
No. Hey boy, I said. No, this place now. Look my house here. Now be this.
This very house.
Yes.
This house.
This very house.
This very one where that madam stand.
Where madam stands. I surprised when they come say they award the road. We were happy. In all this 3 months, 4 months, They stop doing that. They carry caterpillar, tear all this hole. They say that moat. They call the parks and sand for moat. And they say the land, the sand where they park, I don't know. Look here now. I hear Cosplay. Down from where the tire is, no road. From 8 now we there now. Look my road, look my house.
What do you want make the executive
make it remember of your northeast road.
May we call it
community.
I beg of you.
Now we wait for now.
But you don't want the contract now. All the
according to what we hear, there's no Pebble. You know award this road.
Yes.
You say you don't know whether who they.
Okay, Daddy.
Now me they talk.
As I reach local junction on that side, I see one big signboard. Edo State Government project Ohun Road.
They say not give them money. They say not give them money. That then this is the house that I bring people here. Because they pass here every time. Pebble will never pass here one day.
We never see her.
Yes.
So what we they talk now? We want you this opportunity to beg our governor, Model Okpabolo. I beg with Dennis Idausa. Denko, our brother. Our brother, yes, in the own village. We want beg make all of them, make they come do the road for us. I beg now we there.
They don't start the road now.
They don't finish now. They don't start and they don't work small. The rest. We know they feel pass here, motor don't they pass yet, every bag don't they pass here. From our junction before now 500 naira to reach here, but now 1,800, 2,000. Everybody went there here, they cry, we they beg, not before us, we lead down.
Make us complete the project.
Make us complete
the project. It's not clear. However, I just take government don't award the contractor, but the contractor they not see him again. Hey, whoa. So you see that tie road for that side. Now they come like this. Now it's supposed to come pass here, go reach the end. But they're surprised the contractor not this side again. Some people come they talk cho. Say it be like say the contractor say they never pay a balance. That one a cho. Drop your comment, shut up.
Inside there, 2 people. No enter there.
Okpowese, we na win your way. Okpowese, we na win your way. You don't feel like I just take comment for the contractor to return side.
Always say, baby man, no la wo no we ni man. No come contractor, no wepo. We na no sue na never wo do me. No sala body dey no time no la wo no kuma dole uponaji. No go women na ba gari oba ima be mujane be na mujano mo. Ama mujano ba be yen ba mujana politically. Yeah. No dole di ma.
Road is don't overdue for tying. For donkey years, they will promise they will come and tie this Okun Road. They will come and tie this Okun Road.
Okay. Before this government sit down, they don't talk about this Okun Road. And when this government says sit down, they can't do small and they don't award this Okun Road to contractor. And that's not the one where you call it.
They award the road. We see the contractor. We not see the contractor. They award the road. They say they want to do this Okun Road. I mean, for me, even when I was coming this morning, I was telling my friend, I said they use this road, they play politics. Because this one not be road now. You they do road, you know they come supervise them. You know they know how things they go. It's not good. And see road, I may travel, I do travel. I don't go many places for this country. I never see where they do road, no gutter. Okay, this road now where the form say that they tie now. If they tie and finish, where gutter not there, where person has the one carry the water go?
Go.
Make I show
where
you.
You go first.
Which person has the one carry the water go? You see this road. Now very important road where government suppose don't do. They don't want to do one. I don't know why they don't want to do one. And with this, where the deputy governor is from.
It's from Ovia now?
It's from Ovia. But I don't know what thing they happen. We no one talk about this road. This road, see where they go time and reach for that side. And the time no be say na one kind solid time. If like say the contractor they use the road they play. The same road now the same time they award this road and Palace Road for upper mission.
No, wait, you say now the same.
Then the same time now they award this road and upper mission. Upper this Palace Road where they upper mission. They don't feel, you don't see the way that they do that road. Okpebolo they try. But I don't know what they happen for this side. Okun Road. But they see the good work where the governor Okpebolo they do for other area. But this Okun, I don't know why it be like that. Whether they remove in high or your attention come up from Okun Road, I don't know why.
Are you not see contractor?
We know they see the contractor. You see contractor here. This road resemble road where people where things they happen. This road, this Okun Road, it resemble where things they happen. You don't see any contractor. Since when me and you the waka since. From all the way from that side.
According to the report they give us, they say contractor don't start to the tire for Siloko Road.
That one where they tie, that one na road. Where the gutter dey? Okpebolo, Senator Mo, the Governor Okpebolo, he never do road where gutter not dey. Me see Palace Road, you know see gutter. See this road where they this seven coke me where they call am. On your way to Abuja. Aduawa area. Yes, you don't see road where people do there. You don't see this road where don't spoil where they call and say where they this where they that popular road where Obaseki they do before where abandon. You don't see what people do for them. We got everything. This road no long reach that side. Long reach that one. That road go come out for that very road now go come out for Agbo Road.
So this road now from Oluku, I go come out for
Old Road for Ovia Road.